These contractors have fell and hit their head. I just bought a new house, so I've had contractors out here giving me prices on getting some stuff done that I want to knock out before I move in. And buddy, I don't know what the hell an upcharge is, but I'm telling you right now, these jokers are nuts. I had this one old boy come out and give me a quote on laying some concrete over there on the side of my driveway, just kind of extend it out to the side, give me a little more driveway space. And he told me on the phone, he said, yeah, man, it'll be about $2,000 based on those dimensions. I said, shit, that sounds great, for me not having to touch it myself and everything. When can you get it done? He said, well, I'm gonna have to come out and take a look at it and, just make sure everything's right, and that way we can lock in that price for you. I said, okay, sounds great. So he came out this morning. That joker got out of the truck, and the first words out of his mouth is he said, well, man, I'm gonna tell you, it was a little bit of a drive out here, so there's gonna be an upcharge for the drive and everything, just us having to commute. Which I really wasn't sure what he meant by upcharge. So I was like, okay, sounds good, whatever, maybe it's gonna be an extra $100 or something, no problem, I'm not too worried about it. Well, he started walking around. He said, well, you got all these trees over here, and that's going to be an issue. We're going to have to upcharge on that because, trees, if they're around our equipment and everything, it's just a hazard for us. And I was like, do what? But I didn't say nothing because he told me $2,000. So I said, that's the cheapest quote I've got. Well, the more we walked around, the more I realized this dude is absolutely loony. Because he was telling me, he said, well, you got this little bush right here with these flowers on it, and that's going to be an upcharge in itself because them flowers, when we're doing that concrete, the flowers will fall into that concrete. We're going to have to pick them out, so that's going to be a $2,000 upcharge. I said $2,000 on top of the original $2,000? He said, well, yeah, plus those other upcharges I had mentioned as well. So he said, right now we're sitting at $8,500. He said, well, look, man, this is just what stuff costs. And I said, maybe he's right. Fair enough. This is the price you pay for good work. So I went with it. I said, okay, what else? Is there anything else? He said, well, here's the deal. Right here, we're going to lay this concrete at. He said, it's a bunch of grass. My guys are going to have to strip that grass off and everything. So that's going to be an upcharge too. I said, dude, are you serious? How much? He said, well, we got to use equipment and everything to strip that grass off so we can lay the concrete. So that's going to be at least a $4,000 upcharge. So we walked around, and before it was said and done, this dude had racked up the price to $35,000 for a little old strip of concrete. Dude, these contractors are nuts.